Welcome to Wild Mustang Training with Silver 1 year. It has been 1 year, actually tomorrow, that we picked up Silver and brought him home. And if you've not seen the whole video series, we have about 25 or 30 videos of him from the first day up until now. And I told you when we first brought him home that however long it took to get him trained was however long it would take. And we're at a year, and you can see that Cindy, who's actually his owner, she's usually the one on the back side of the camera, but today she's actually riding Silver around, just here in the arena at a walk. And I think somewhere along the process I mentioned that his ultimate destiny was to be a grandma horse and a grandkid horse. And he's pretty much there, as you can see. And it caused me to kind of think about what's the definition of a broke horse. And I think it would vary depending on the horse. So if you asked a reining horse trainer to define a broke horse, he would say things like it had to have a sliding stop and a fast spin and things like that. Or if you asked a hunter jumper rider what's a broke horse, well, he'd talk about jumping and all those kind of things. The definition for her and Silver would be a different definition. So I think that I would say it this way. What's a broke horse? It's a horse that does what you ask it when you give it the cue most of the time. Okay? So she asks this horse to walk, he walks. She asks him to turn, he turns. She doesn't ask him to spook if a dog runs across there, and he doesn't spook. So that includes both the positive and negative. If your horse does what you ask it to do most of the time, 98% of the time, the exceptions being, stick of dynamite's thrown at you or something, then that's a broke horse for what you need it to be. Now, after about 200 rides and about more than that hours of training, for me, I don't consider Silver to be completely trained or broke, because if I'm going to ride a horse every day, I want flying lead changes. I want a horse to sit on its butt when he stops, and I want rollbacks that are easy and things like that. And I think he'll probably get there. We're working on all those things, but it's going to be another probably 6 months, maybe another year before this horse is broke to the level that I'd like him to be. But he's broke where she's happy with him, so that's kind of a good thing. I did mention on the last video that I was going to take him to a cowboy race, and I promised to show you a video, and I have to apologize because the camera broke when I got to the race, so I did not get the video. And actually, he didn't do very well. That particular day, it was windy and rainy, and he was kind of a little Mustangy, and he rode out fine, he loped out fine, but when it came to the obstacles like the bridges and going through water and things like that, on that particular day, he was not going to do it. Now, after the race was over, I went out there and he was fine. And any horse can be that way, but especially a Mustang. But that's where he is at 1 year. I would expect another video in a few weeks or a month. I'm really working on flying lead changes, and we haven't gotten that far. I'm not sure how far along we'll be, but I have been able to work him quite a bit, and he's coming along fine. So thanks for coming along on the journey with Silver.